I'm sure there's got to be some stuff around here that I can get before I get back on my motorcycle and get out of here. Holy shit! Look at all them damn zombies! There are hundreds of them!
I have a contract. It says I have a contract. You don't have a contract. I have a contract.
There's way too fucking many of them! This, I'm getting out of here!
Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another review. This time I'm reviewing Days Gone. It was developed by Bend Studios and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment and was released on April 26th of 2019 for the PlayStation 4. Now at start, when you first load this game up, you will be forced to actually update it with a 10 to 15 gigabyte update on day one. Most of it is to fix a lot of the bugs that are in this game, so that's a welcome addition to it. And considering that I did get to play this game early, it was really bad. It really bad in early play due to these bugs, so that's why I took so long before I came out with this review. I like to have the reviews out like on launch day or maybe a day after, so I'm taking a little longer with this one because I wanted to actually dive deep to actually play the game through a lot of the missions again to see how it is now that they've actually worked out a lot of the bugs. Now, one of the first things I do have to definitely let you know about is the load times for this game at startup are awful. Oh my God, are they so damn long? I mean, they're so long. In fact, I had a little bit of fun with the loading screen at the beginning, as you see here.
Loading. Come on, keep on loading. Yeah, just keep loading. What? Keep loading. Come on.
I call it Days Gone because it takes so many days for the damn game to load. Now, this game is a post-apocalyptic open-world action-adventure game where you play as Deacon St. John, a biker turned bounty hunter who survives as a drifter in the gigantic open area that consists of 6 gigantic regions. Now, missions consist of you going around doing stuff from like clearing out enemy bases, destroying the freaker nests, and all kinds of other different missions. Now, one thing I will have to say is all footage that I'm using for this is very early on in the game. That way it does not spoil anything. Honestly, it takes several hours before the story actually starts getting interesting and you start really liking this character. He comes off as kind of a douchebag at first until you actually get to see a lot of flashbacks later on and flash forwards and flash sideways. I mean, no, seriously, it's just flashbacks. But once you actually start really understanding this character, he does become more likable as you progress through, to where once once you get near the end, it's actually a really well done story. It just can be kind of odd. I would have to say the story is not elegantly placed, but it is very deep as you go through it. Now, as you go around doing different missions, like clearing out the enemy bases, searching, Nero spots to get gear, destroying the nests, going around doing the specific missions that you get, you can do most of them with their stealth mechanics that are in this game. The stealth mechanics are all right. They're really quite functional, in fact, and really well done. Most of the AI of the enemy characters can be a little wonky sometimes, but with the new patch, I haven't had really too many problems with them. I mean, they'll dodge you, they'll move around, and with the combination of your quick dodge with this the trigger button, and also hiding behind stuff with your circle button, you can combine stuff on the fly with doing your weapons, tagging them with your binoculars so you can actually see them, and doing tricks of the trade like luring freakers into a camp to actually kill the enemies for you. And one of the things I have to say about this game, other than the fact to me it looks freaking beautiful, it is a very graphic heavy game. Probably not as high as some of the other main games for Sony, but considering some of the features in this, honestly, it's a freaking beautiful game. And it has a really good day and night system and a very dynamic weather systems that hands down, the first time you get in a severe thunderstorm with the lightning crashing, the water pulling up on the road, and everything like that, it's actually a sight to behold. And even once you get later on in the game and in the snowy areas, you physically watch as the snow falls and actually builds up on everything around you, which actually is very well done. I really appreciate that amount of detail. And it does seem to affect your enemies, especially the freakers. They're zombies, okay? They can say they're people that are like mutated, but they're freaking zombies, okay? But, the freakers come in different kinds, too. You have the little ones, you have your big Bertha ones, and naturally, some of them will scream and get more attention than others. Others will bum rush you, and you have your tank versions of them as well. And the weather will affect them along with the day and night cycle. They seem to be a lot weaker during the day and not as bright. And during the nighttime, they really can be quite ferocious. And, fortunately, the freakers are quite stupid in this. Their vision and their hearing doesn't seem to be really, it's hit or miss sometimes. I mean, sometimes I've had it to where I'd be pretty much right in front of them and they didn't even see me. And other times, I swear to God, I was hidden in a bush and they would spot me and come running. Now, fortunately, with the way the mechanics are with your weapons wheel and everything, you can, craft materials on the fly by just holding down your trigger button, bringing up your weapon wheel and pressing in the direction of the weapon, or item. Like if you want to make a heal item, you press in the heal area, and then you can craft the items right on the fly, which, honestly, I do appreciate that. It's not cumbersome. It's actually quite well done. I like how that's actually implemented into this game. Now, the other thing about freakers that you need to know is since they're technically not zombies, they still somewhat have aspects where they behave like humans in terms of them needing to eat food, drink water, and a lot of times you'll find these guys camped out eating food or out down near a lake or a river trying to get some water, which can actually lead to some really cool events of you sneaking up on them and killing them. Now, the main aspect of this game, hands down, due to the overall size of it, is the bike travel system. You pretty much early on, you'll get your bike, and as you progress through the game, you'll be able to upgrade it with other parts and tweaks, like from the nitrous, to be able to fix everything from your speed, the durability, and the maneuverability of your bike, which is a good thing, because when you first start off, your bike, I don't really have a problem with it, because I've played a lot of games that feel like this. I wouldn't say it's floaty. The bikes kind of handle kind of tanky. They seem to have a slight delay when you actually drive them, and it's nothing that you won't get used to as you play this. But if you're used to like a spot-on racing games in terms of being able to control the bike, it seems a little off. And honestly, for a motorcycles generally are well known for being very sensitive and be able to control. And in this, it seems the opposite. It seems like you're driving a big-ass Buick. I mean, you got to compensate until you upgrade the bike far enough along to really be able to control it properly. And like I said, I didn't have a problem with it. I'm was really easily adaptable to it. But some people might have a little bit of problem at first getting the hang of actually riding the bike. Now, the thing is, though, the bike is one of the main mechanics in this game. You use it for everything, and naturally for travel. It also consists for your location to go back to save. Also use like a warp system. Once you clear out certain areas, you can fast travel to them. But the main mechanic with your bike is the fact that it takes damage. Now, that's everything from wrecking it, landing the wrong way, having enemies attack it, and you will have to use scrap that you gather to make sure your bike is always fixed, because if you have a broken bike, you're not traveling, and trust me, in this game, that is not good, especially if you happen to be in a certain area with a freaker horde, or just a couple of them, and you need to get on that bike and get the hell away, and if your bike ain't up to par, you're pretty much dead. You are going to be 100% milk grade toast really fast. Now, the other mechanic with this game that can be kind of cumbersome and annoying, but once you get the hang of it and used to it, it's not really that bad. Your bike does have to make sure it has gas. Now, fortunately, there is a thing that will appear on your map, your world map and stuff like that, to let you know where gas is located. So it's not really too hard to ever find a new location to go and scavenge for gas. But there will be many instances in this game where you will want to get to an area and you want to make sure you top off your tank and have gas. And you'll have to stop what you're doing and actually go out, find an area in this giant ass game, which is huge, in order to go ahead and find gas for your bike. Now, the best way to describe it is, the horses in Red Dead Redemption 2 being your main mode of transportation that you had to take care of. This is the horse. This is your iron horse, so to say, in this game. You will be forced to deal with your bike constantly. Now, the other main mechanic with this, has to be, is just overall, I would call it more of a trust mechanic, because there's so many mechanics in this game. You got your crafting one, which is rather simplified. You've got your ability to pick plants and items and use to make stuff in your wheel. But I would say it has to be the trust mechanic, because as you go through this game, there will be 5 different outposts that you'll come across, and you'll pretty much build a trust with these people, a rapport, so to say. And by doing different missions and other things to help them, you will gain trust with them, and you will level up your trust with these different outposts, and each time you do it will unlock new sets of different gear, upgrades, and tweaks that you can buy through their shops, and you can do it to a maximum of like level 3. I think you can go up 3 levels for each of these outposts, and this is the best way to get the best gear and upgrades in the game, is by doing that. Now, the other thing I'd have to notice is this game also features stuff like Red Dead that I think they're called ambient events, where you'll have just random stuff happen in the game world with these NPCs, and you can choose to help them or let them die. And naturally, if you help them, it might open up to something else. You might get some cool items out of the deal. And it is pretty interesting to do. The best way to describe this game as a whole is, honestly, you take the giant open world aspects of Grand Theft Auto, almost like a Red Dead Redemption 2, combine it with your characters out of Sons of Anarchy, really, with some aspects of the Last of Us, meaning the survival aspects of it, and with the freaker hordes of World War Z. Now, the other thing I got to talk about is the hordes themselves. They're not as prevalent as you would think. I mean, there's several parts in the game, key points where they do happen, and there are some roaming hordes, and as you progress far enough into the game, you can go back and clear out these hordes, which is a major challenge. The first time you actually deal with a massive horde of several hundred of these guys, it can be very daunting, very stressing on you, of setting traps and running and gunning and shooting, especially considering you have a stamina bar that'll slowly wither away, and these guys seem to run a little bit faster than you, so you can pretty much get your butt handed to you and killed pretty easily. I mean, after the first time of dealing with it, it was a rush, but then I found it to get annoying, and it got to the point to where up until the end game area, where I didn't want to go and clear out the hordes, I kind of ignored them and tried to avoid them at all costs, because all it seemed to do was just cost me a lot of struggle in terms of wasting a lot of ammunition, and in the end, it was just easier to avoid them until later on when you're clearing them out. Now, like one of the other missions you get to do is like clearing out the nests, and you'll go through and you pretty much use a Molotov cocktail or something on fire to burn out these nests. And as you do that, it will lower the amount of the freakers that are in the area to make it easier for you. But not just with the freakers, you also have to deal with these other Mad Max style crazy roving gangs of people that'll try to kill you, and even mutated animals too, like wolves and mutated bears that are like real pain in the ass to kill, actually. And I have had a couple of bears glitch out on me, but nothing really that bad. When I first played the game, the early version, oh my god, it was honestly terrible. I was not having fun with it because I couldn't enjoy the game. But after they actually implemented all these new patches and got the game quite stable, even though the frame rate does dip occasionally here and there, the game itself is actually a very fun game. I mean, it does have the same rinse and repeat gameplay like any game does, where you go talk to a person, do a mission, rinse and repeat, like follow a helicopter here, track a guy here, a couple missions where you lead people somewhere. But all in all, I found this game to actually be a very enjoyable time. And if you just get into it and realize that don't compare this to anything else. It takes little snippets of games from here and there and merges it together, and it does seem to suffer from the aspect that people want it to have its own identity, and this game really does have its identity from multiple personalities. I mean, really, it's emergence of different ideas and different gameplay design from multiple other games. And while it doesn't really come out as something really truly unique, overall, all the parts work quite well, and I find it to be a really good game. I don't know why a lot of people were trashing this game. It might have just been because they had an early release version or something, but after I took my time to really start playing through it again, after I actually had the patched version of it, honestly, it's a really good game. You will have issues with it. There will be problems with some pretty good glitches, but nothing, honestly, that really makes the game less fun. I find myself having a great time with this. And if you figure this game is roughly, give or take, about 30 plus hours long, I think the cutscenes are like 6 to 8 hours worth of cutscenes on it. And it has so many different interiors you can go and investigate and go into. A lot of these buildings you'll see in most games, you're like, you can't go into them. And this one, I was amazed at just how many different modeled interiors you can actually go into. And the other thing is there's no microtransactions or loot boxes in this game, which is a nice welcome addition. And it's a single player, no online, which is really another weird thing. I do have to give you a couple pointers with this game, though. First of all, there are certain upgrades that you'll have on your skill trees of your character. They consist of melee, ranged, and survival. And naturally, melee will have stuff in it that will help you be able to fight better. Ranged will actually allow you to get different ranged attacks and upgrades there. And survival will help you with your animals, your skinning, your collection of stuff. Like a good example is like certain moves I recommend you unlock is Focus Shot, which will pretty much give you a bullet time effect for your character. The next one I would say go for is Crowd Control, because it will actually speed up the recharge time for your Focus Shot, so you can use it more often. And the other thing is Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye's in survival upgrade trees. It'll actually show all the plants on your map, which will help you find the item. And Green Thumb is a good one too, because it'll allow you to pick up double amounts of plants. Now, a lot of these different skills that you actually upgrade actually do fundamentally help a lot with this game. And also the ability to upgrade your bike along the way, like I said, with new parts, new nitrous, new tanks that allow for better gasoline consumption and stuff like that. The only problem I'd have to say with this game is the fact that I got annoyed by the hordes. After a while, they got annoying where I just wanted to avoid them because they were very, action-packed and stressful and neat to watch. It really is neat to watch it, but after the first time and you realize how much pain in the ass it is to clear them out, until you're at a certain part in the game, you kind of don't want to waste the time because it's just so much hard work for you to actually survive these, and it's a rush when you do. Don't get me wrong, it's really cool. You're like, hell yeah, I killed them all, but I find it recommended that you wait until you get to near the end game, or so before you do that, because there's so much content in this game. This game is absolutely huge. It looks great. It plays a hell of a lot better now that they fixed a lot of the bugs with it. And I can actually recommend, if you were looking forward to a game like The Last of Us, this is not the game for you, okay? This is not Last of Us. You have to go into this game and not try to compare it to anything else, and embrace the fact of how it takes little bits and pieces from multiple games and puts it together in this rather well done, cohesive adventure with a really good story. It just takes quite a while, several hours in, before it really starts getting really good. And honestly, in the end, I can recommend this if you like massively large open world games with tons of content. You love the shooting mechanics are pretty well done. I mean, it can be a little bit of problems until you upgrade your character, but I didn't have any problems with the shooting mechanics, the weapons, the upgrade wheel is well done. I like the different skills in the skill tree, the ability to go to the different outposts and level them up to get better gear and perks and stuff like that. Through your roughly 30 plus hour adventure, I can actually say, if you haven't played this game or you didn't think about playing it, rent it. Rent this game. Check it out for your own first. Play it for about 5 hours, and then at that point make your own judgment. Because if you try to compare it to other games, you're probably going to be nitpicky and point out things that you just don't like about it. But if you just go into it to actually play a really neat adventure game from Bend Studios, the people that made Siphon Filter, I think it was, you'll find that this is actually a really damn good game, and I can actually highly recommend that you pick it up. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Please leave in the comments below if you plan on getting in this game. If you're playing this game, what do you think about this game? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Please hit that like button. That always helps my channel. Don't forget to enter my great and glorious Best Buy Ultimate Gift Card giveaway. That's still going on and won't end until September. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out.